Alright guys, welcome back. It is time for part number 2, week 5, stage 2 Overwatch League. So, got a bunch of teams locked in already to the playoffs. You could probably hear I'm still quite sick, so I'm going to make this video really quick because otherwise I'm going to get real sniffly, so I have to blow a nose, blah, 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 and you guys don't want to see all of that. So we're just going to get right to the point, get all the predictions in quickly, and yeah, I apologize. This will not be, I will not be nearly as in-depth with the predictions themselves as I usually am. So, very quickly, we got San Francisco, Vancouver, LA Glads, New York Excel, London Spitfire, Dallas Fuel locked into the playoffs. They are all in for sure. This seeding will switch around a little bit. I assume San Fran will end 1, Vancouver will be 2, New York will be number 3, Glads will fall to 5, London will go up to 4. Dallas will probably remain at 6, and then either Shanghai, Hangzhou, Seoul, and Chengdu, some combination of that will get into the playoffs. Boston could go 4-3, but their map differential is terrible. So they're not in much. They're not in very good shape, at least for the stage playoffs. And then everyone else down is, of course, already eliminated. So, we have a lot of matches that don't matter at all these 2 days, and then we have some matches that do matter quite a bit. From the last couple days, the Gladiators were upset by the Uprising. Gladiators looked terrible that match, the worst they've looked since beginning of Stage 1 by far. If they play like that, they will be eliminated immediately in the playoffs. And Shanghai got a really important win. Seoul has 2 very important matches coming up these 2 days. So, without further ado, we're going to go and look at the schedule. And I'm going to be even more quick when I'm talking about matches that don't matter as much to the playoffs. Because I'm sure you guys are more interested to see like what situations can happen, to see if like Hangzhou gets in or if Seoul gets in. So, first of all, we got London Spitfire taking on Houston Outlaws. Houston is winless on the stage. London is 5-1. Looking at the maps, I don't see a whole lot of hope here for Houston. London is going to want to win to up themselves in terms of seeding. Because as of right now, they could potentially face a team like New York right away, and I'm sure they'd rather play the Gladiators than the Excel. So I think they're going to come out and they're going to take this one with relative ease. This is a pretty good map. I'd say this is a pretty decent map set for Houston. They generally like Kings Row and Junkertown. So I'll give them a map. They've played better the last week and a half, but I still don't give them a chance to beat London unless London really comes out and lays an egg, kind of like the Gladiators did yesterday, and they're just thinking about the playoffs instead of this match. Then we might see Houston sneak out 2 maps or even the series, but I think that London will want to finish the stage 6-1, and they will come out and get the job done 3-1. The rematch, New York Excel taking on Atlanta Reign. So earlier in the stage, Atlanta, they were 1-3 at the time. They pulled off a crazy upset against New York, handed them their first regular season loss of the year. And Atlanta has been steadily improving this stage because they've been incorporating their new players in, such as Fried, their new off-tank, who they have splitting time now with Daco, which I think is a good decision, and also Baby Bay, their acquisition to replace DeFran after he retired, the signee from the Shock. So Atlanta's been looking better, but I think this is a 4-0. I think Excel is going to come out super motivated. They're going to want that 3 seed, and they're going to clobber Atlanta. They want their revenge from last time. And I also don't love this map pool for Atlanta. Atlanta loves. I really like Atlanta on Busan, and Oasis. I'm not nearly as high on them. I think they're going to have a lot of trouble attacking Hanamura. Same thing with Blizzard World. I think New York will just kind of roll that offense forward. And then Junkertown, I'd say it's Atlanta's best chance, but I'm going to say New York closes this out 4-0 for a 6-1 stage. So, got a really interesting matchup right here. Seoul Dynasty, Vancouver Titans. So, Vancouver is still undefeated on the year. They have yet to lose a match. They've beaten Seoul twice already. Seoul has been playing well. They've been using their B roster, and it's been working out well for them. They 4-0 Dallas. They're sitting at 3-2 on the stage, so they need this match. If they do lose, as long as they keep it close, they still have a chance because they play Hangzhou in the last matchup of the season. But like I said, it's going to be a lot better for them if they win this one. If they win this match, then they could potentially jump to number 6 in the standings, or even like 5 if London gets upset. But I don't see Seoul winning this one. I'm going to give Seoul Anubis. I think they'll take Anubis. That's a map that they generally play pretty well on. Vancouver has shown their struggles on it, losing to the Shock on it in the playoffs, losing to Chengdu in Stage 1, losing to, who did they play yesterday? Defiant. Toronto Defiant. They lost. They got full held. So I say Seoul is able to win that map. But then other than that, I think Vancouver takes this 3-1. If Seoul hasn't matched up so poorly against Vancouver in the past, I'd probably take them, but I just can't bring myself to do it. I think Vancouver goes to 14-0 and locks up that number 2 seed. Next, we got Chengdu Hunters taking on LA Valiant. Valiant are sitting at 2-4 on the stage. Chengdu's at 3-3, and they have a +2 map differential. So Chengdu, for them, if they get a big victory over Valiant, and then if Seoul loses to the Titans like 4-0, and then if they beat Hangzhou and it's not like a 4-0, like if say they win it like 2-1 or 3-2, something like that, Chengdu could very well sneak themselves into that last spot for the playoffs. So very important match for them. The Valiant, they're sitting at 2-4. They're eliminated from the stage playoffs. They're at 2-11 on the season, so every match is very important. If they could get a win here, I mean, that'd put them at 3-4. And I think that would give them a lot of confidence going into next stage. But I can't pick Valiant here. Chengdu's just been playing better. I think Valiant's going to kind of struggle to play against Chengdu's comps at times, especially on like Paris. I don't think they'll be able to really make a tick of progress on that. So I'm going to say Chengdu wins this one. I think it's pretty close. I think the Valiant give them a decent challenge, but I think that Chengdu is your eventual winners in this one, 3-1. Next, we have Toronto Defiant taking on Paris Eternal. So Toronto had a pretty decent showing against Vancouver. They didn't look as bad as I thought they would. They took a map off them, which is solid. But they did lose in the end. They're now down to 6-7. Paris is sitting at 5-8. Two teams that have struggled quite mightily this stage. And really on the season after getting off to really good starts. They've both really fallen apart. So this is a tough one for me. I think Toronto should win this one, but Paris will, if that makes sense. I'm going to say it goes to 5. An entertaining match that doesn't mean anything for this stage, but is important for the season standings because you don't want to keep falling farther below 500, and both of these teams are a little bit below that. Like I said, 6-7 Toronto, 5-8 Paris. They just need wins in order to stay in striking distance of those last couple playoff spots. So I'm going to say Paris in 5, just because I like their synergy a little bit more than Toronto right now. Next, we got Washington Justice taking on Boston Uprising. So, like I said, Boston 3-3. They could, if they win this, they'll complete a second 4-3 stage. Like I said, they're not making the playoffs though. But if you go 4-3 again, I mean, you're sitting at 8-6. You're going to be in that playoff range, so that'll be good for Boston. Washington continues to look like one of the worst teams in the league. They took a map off of Shanghai yesterday, but that was all they could do. Very quickly, Boston 3-1. Washington will snag either Temple or Blizzard World, but Boston will have not that much trouble taking this one in the end. Two more matches. This one is a very important one. You got Shanghai Dragons trying to make their first stage playoffs in the history of the team. They're sitting at 4-2. And then you have San Francisco Shock, who are going for the perfect stage and the perfect stage in terms of maps, not just matches. They are 24 for 24 on maps this stage, 6-0 overall. So they're trying to finish it out 28-0, and I think Shanghai is the best team they've played this stage. Shanghai is really starting to come into their own, and I think they break it. I think Shanghai beats San Francisco. I think they beat them on Paris. I think I predicted Fusion to win a map off them yesterday, and they failed to do so, or 2 days ago, whenever it was. But I think that Shanghai is playing a lot better than Philly is right now. I think Shock has shown a little bit of vulnerability on Paris, and I think that Shanghai is going to be extremely motivated to win this match because they are in the stage to playoff hunt. But in the end, San Francisco is just too good. I think they take it 3-1. Especially with big wins on maps 3 and 4. Those are good maps for them and not as much for Shanghai. So I'm going to take Shock finishing at 7-0, clinching that top seed, but not going 28-0. And then we got another very important match, Hangzhou Spark and Seoul Dynasty. So it's pretty simple for Hangzhou. Win and you're in. If they win this match, they are in the Stage 2 playoffs. And yeah, that'll be their first stage playoffs as a team. For Seoul, if they beat Vancouver, then it's a win and you're in. If they lost, it's win and get a little bit of help. So this is a tough one. I think it'll be entertaining, but I like Seoul. I think that they're playing a little bit better overall. I think they have a little bit more flexibility. I think they have a little more confidence. And Hangzhou, if they win this match and they don't sweep it, they'll finish 5-2 with a negative map differential. It's crazy. If they 4-0, then it'll be positive. But if they lose or if they win by like 1 or 2, they will have a negative map differential. They're sitting at -3 right now. That's a crazy stat to me. But, like I said, looking at the maps, I just like Seoul's Goats more. And I think that's really going to come through maps 3 and 4, especially. And, while I think it's back and forth, I like Seoul taking it 3-1. So, once again, looking at the standings, that would, if all those predictions go like I assume that they will, that would be Chengdu and Seoul jumping Spark and Dragons. But, like I said, it's going to be crazy. Those are definitely some matches to watch between those guys, because it could end just like it is now. Spark could fall out, Chengdu could get in, and Shanghai could stay in. There's just a lot of things that could happen. So, it should be an exciting last couple days of Overwatch. We got a couple teams trying to see if they can get a match win on the stage. So, I hope you guys are excited to watch these. Hope you're excited for the stage playoffs. I think these stage playoffs are going to be a lot more interesting than stage 1. But yeah, good luck to your teams if they are playing, or your team if they are playing these next 2 days. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope you have yourselves a fantastic couple of days. And I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully not sick.